Today we're making cider.
Farmhouse cider, the original stuff. All you need is apples and a bit of time. And maybe a bit of the force. Welcome to Gelderland. Today we're visiting a farm near Apeldoorn. A small biodynamic farm. The plan was to pick grapes and make wine. But the grapes aren't ready yet, so we're picking apples and making cider. First, the apples. Here we have the trees. All clones standing in the field. Clones? Okay. Hold up. Time out. Lay down your lightsabers. It's not that type of clone. No. Apples are a bit difficult. If you take a seed from an apple, like a normal apple, then you don't get the same result. It's like a genetic roulette. You need to graft them.
We need to use clones through the art of grafting.
Apple trees don't grow from the seeds, they go on grafts. You take a branch from an existing tree you like, the taste of the apple you like, and you put it in a rootstock. Because on its own, if you take the branch off, it won't grow. If you take the seeds from the apple, you will not get the same apple. It's genetic roulette. So, this apple is actually the same apple as somebody ate in the 1860s. It's just cloned all these years. This apple is a Goutenet. We're collecting a lot of different species of apple. But the Goutenet is our start today. It was first discovered in an orchard in Basque and preserved ever since. Normally the Dutch used this apple for baking, but we are making cider today. We're doing it as in the old days, different apples to mix the flavors. Why? Well, this is the way country farms used to work. And to show you that apples, which aren't the best hand apples, have a use. Inside the regions of Europe, they cherish their sour and tart apples. Apples that might never make it to the supermarket shelf. A good example is Basque country in Spain. For me, the best place to drink natural cider. And that's what we're making. Pick only the apples which are intact, not the ones which are rotten in the tree or the ones lying on the ground, because we don't want other microbes than the ones which are on the apple itself. Like on the apple itself, there's the yeast already there. And this is what we're using. So we're just using what we get from the tree today. Oh yeah, and here there are not a lot of apples lying on the ground because these little bell hamels, they also like apples. Next we cut and crush the apples. This we do with machinery which is better suited for grapes, but we'll make do today. But you can also use a kitchen machine or a juicer borrowed from the wife. It's important that everything is clean. We won't add any yeast. The apples already carry the yeast we need. The yeast will ferment the sugar into alcohol. Our job is to keep out the microbes that might disrupt this process. By the way, if you want to add yeast one day, don't take the baking yeast. That's the wrong strain. Once the apples are crushed, we get out the press. If you have time left, let the crushed apples sit for a while. The enzymes will break up the cells a bit and you get a better yield. The pressing is straightforward, like the whole process. Note the Dutch wooden shoes. Yes, on the farms they are worn. Well, while we're doing this, we can look at some of the history. In the 17th century, there used to be a very nice custom. When a child was born or a marriage was celebrated, they used to add a branch to the family tree. So they would add another flavor of apples to a tree. So in the end, you ended up with a tree with different types of apples. And this was used to make the food, like the pies or cider for family feasts. So you ended up with something very personal. one tree with a lot of flavors. It makes the apples not just food, but something personal. Even today you can still buy apple trees with different apples on the stem.
The pressing is progressing nicely, although the yield is a bit low. It was a very dry year this year. The taste is fine. You can already taste a hint of the goutennet. Also, the color reminds me of the goutennet. It's liquid apple pie. Note the difference between this cider and the batch of last week, or the pasteurized juice from last year's harvest. The batch of last week is made from a single species of apple, also not a hand apple. Once the juice is pressed, it's time to let it ferment. No need to add anything. The wild yeast on the apple will do all the work. It's like using the force. Each yeast cell converts sugar into alcohol. Let's take a measurement. The prediction is 7% alcohol, which is normal for a cider. If you buy a Basque cider, you'll probably get like 5 or 6%. Here it's 7% if all the sugar is converted into alcohol. The highest you will get with wild yeast is about 8%, because above that the alcohol will kill these yeast strains. But that's for cider. If you're making wine or something else, then different percentages apply. Patience is key. Fermentation can take anywhere from a few days to a few weeks, depending on temperature and the apples. And yes, you'll see bubbles. In our case, I'm happy to report after a day or so we had bubbles. Quick side note, you can make cider or wine from most fruits, like here. Elderberry, strawberry and bramble. You can also mix fruit, like they did in the old days.
After a week or so, you take the cider off the sediments by changing into a new bottle. And then you need patience. At least a month and a half for it to have the second stage, and then you can bottle it.
You can also bottle it directly after the first stage. But then use thick glass and secure the cap, because pressure can build up and can make a mess. Sometimes microbes can disrupt the process. It's the dark side. And you end up with apple wine vinegar. Even the dark side has its uses. It's perfectly usable stuff. Now comes the fun part. The tasting and the pouring. We're taking our inspiration from the Basques. I had to get a bottle because ours isn't ready yet. Will take at least another 2 months. They pour it from high above the glass. Why? To aerate the cider, release flavors and get that perfect foam. So, grab a glass and channel your inner Jedi. Because this isn't easy.
So yes, the moral of the story is you can make wine or alcohol drink from mostly all the fruits. If you have raspberries, strawberries, grapes in your garden, you can also mix it together and try to make something nice. Have fun. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.